Victor, for Exhibit 54, for your Chase checking account, it's in your name.
54?
Correct. I have gone through and tallied up all of the deposits into this account. And in the year of 2022, the deposits into this account totaled $39,003.65.
Which account?
The Chase account, Exhibit 54.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, does that seem accurate to you?
Everything is 100% accurate.
Okay. Now, I've created a summary, and I'd like to submit it into evidence of the deposits into the Chase account.
I'm going to object. I have not had the time to cross-reference every statement with her summary. I can't tell you if it's accurate or not. I mean, I'm going to say, I don't think he understood her question. He hasn't had the time to do this either.
Okay.
I
I
can't.
just went through the statements and created a chart of the dates and the amounts and then the deposits and the source. If the court would prefer, I could absolutely attach these to the closing briefs at that time if the court would prefer.
That would be great. That way it gives counsel a chance to go ahead and cross-reference.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, now, can you flip over to Exhibit 55? Now I've gone through and I've tallied up the deposits into this account as well. And the deposits into your Victoria Wealth Management Inc. account in 2022 total $79,702.20. Does that seem accurate to you?
If that's what the statements are, that's what they are.
And then into your Exhibit 56, the deposits into this account for 2022 totaled approximately $78,466.12. Does that seem accurate to you?
That's what they said.
And Exhibit 57, which is your Wells Fargo, your savings account, most of these were cash deposits into this account, and you deposited cash and other deposits into this account totaling approximately $19,213 in 2022. Does that sound accurate to you?
That's what the statements are, yep.
So in 2022, if you add up all these numbers, you deposited into your 4 accounts a total of nearly $220,000.
How many accounts?
Between your 4 accounts,
Okay.
you deposited into those accounts approximately $220,000.
So whatever the statements read, that's what it is.
No further questions?
Huh?
No further questions.
I'm going to
Oh.
ask you questions, though,
Oh,
so
yeah, yeah,
stay
yeah,
right
go
there. Don't
sorry.
move.
Get organized over here.
So, Victor, are you actually an employee of any company?
No, I'm not.
You an independent contractor?
Independent contractor.
All right. And do you have a brick and mortar office?
Do I have a what?
A brick and
Yeah.
mortar office?
Yes, I do.
So you do not work remotely? Like permanently, like from your home? You do not work from your home all the
No,
time?
I go to my office.
Okay, and you actually meet with clients at your
Absolutely.
office? Okay. If you take a look at your financial disclosure form, if you want to use my book, it's a little bit smaller. So let's take a look. Your
I don't think I have that book.
Oh, you don't?
I just have
I
2
dropped them all
white
off
ones.
here,
Do we have an extra set?
because I don't know the numbers of the ones in her book.
I only had 2
What was the
binders
financial
for the
disclosure
picture.
form
Okay.
number in your book, Sabrina? We could just use yours then.
In
Okay.
mine, it is.
I did drop off
We'll
books.
just send 3 copies, one for the clerk, one for the
Yeah.
court, and one for the witness. We only have 2.
Oh, shouldn't have.
40
Anyway, it's fine. Go
49
ahead.
on mine.
49 on yours, then take a look at Sabrina's exhibit number 49.
On this exhibit
In her book,
49?
yeah, number 49. And if you take a look at page 3 of your financial disclosure form, which is exhibit 49,
Page 3,
Page 3,
yep.
okay. Under section B, what are all of these numbers in section B?
Section B is my business expenses.
Okay, so when Sabrina talks about the amount of $217,164 being deposited into your accounts, that is before the deduction of business expenses, correct?
Correct.
So you have a brick and mortar office, and the rent on that office each month is $3,444.15?
Correct. It's gone up. It's gonna go up though in June, but
Okay.
yeah.
All right, and then you have insurance annually of $1,800, which is $150 a month, correct?
Correct.
What kind of insurance is that?
Yeah.
What kind of insurance is that?
Which one are you at?
You have under, insurance annually $1,800 for, and it's so $150 a month. What kind of insurance is that you're paying for your business?
Oh, those are life insurance.
Okay, and then you've got advertising, $100 a month,
Yeah,
correct?
correct.
Business entertainment and travel, $200 a month,
Correct.
okay? And, let's see, supplies, $125 a month, correct?
Correct.
And then taxes and licenses annually, $825, which is $68.75 a month, correct?
Correct.
So in essence, you are spending $4,167 a month for business expenses, correct?
Correct. Estimated.
Okay,
Yep.
so, that $217,164 does not take into consideration that money that's going out every month, right? Alright. Now, as a 1099 employee, do you have a withholding of taxes from your?
Yes, I do.
Wait, listen to, hear me carefully, hear the question carefully. Do you get a paycheck?
Correct.
Do you get a paycheck?
Like, yes.
You
Oh,
get
do
a-
I get a paycheck?
Do
No.
you get a
Oh, are you
paycheck?
talking about 10? No, I don't.
Right,
No, no.
so do you have withholding, like, you get a paycheck where they take taxes out?
No,
So at the end of the year, do you owe income taxes?
absolutely.
And how much do you pay in income taxes? Approximately, on this kind of,
Right,
on your,
I understand
for
that.
2022, what are you gonna owe?
2022, I'll probably owe, estimated anywhere between 6,000 to 8,000.
Okay, so then you still have to pay that out of these deposits that have gone into your account, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so then you didn't technically make $217,000,
Nowhere near.
right?
Nowhere near.
Okay, so if we take off the business expenses and the taxes that you're gonna need to pay, your income is about $120,000,
Yep.
is that correct?
Yes, correct.
And that is essentially what you represented on your financial disclosure
Absolutely,
form,
100%.
correct? Okay, and as an independent contractor who sells insurance, first of all, what kind of insurance do you sell?
Life insurance and annuities.
Okay, do you handle any kind of medical insurance?
No, I don't. I only handle group health insurance, which I just ended my relationship with my last group March 1. So I'm no longer in that facet of financial services.
Okay, and are you eligible for any kind of group health insurance coverage in your current position?
No, but if I hit a certain number of production, then I would then the contract would change to group benefit contract. And since COVID, I haven't been able to hit those numbers, so no.
Okay.
I haven't had it for years.
So was your income better before COVID?
Yeah, 100%.
And what happened during COVID that created a lessening of your income?
Policies canceled, my residual income depleted, and it was, just like every other business owner got affected
Okay.
from COVID.
So, so in essence, when you sell a life insurance policy or an annuity, you get a commission for selling it plus residuals, correct?
Correct.
And residuals are what exactly?
Residual income as clients are premiums paid, I get a residual on that every month.
So because people allowed their life insurance policies to lapse during COVID, you lost residuals?
Absolutely, lost it all.
Okay, so you are trying to get your business back up to where it was before,
Yes, I'm
correct?
trying to recover.
Was 2021 worse than 2022?
Yes.
Was 2020 worse than 2021?
About the same.
Okay, so those 2 years were not so great,
Yeah.
2022 got a little bit
A
better,
little better.
and you're hoping 2023 will be even better, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so did you find yourself having difficulty keeping up with all of the expenses that Marnie was sending you to?
Well, absolutely, you know, I mean, there should be restraints on the expenses coming in, and even before that, there should be communication, you know, so, absolutely.
So on the average, between child support, daycare, medical expenses, do you have any idea of what she was expecting you to pay? What, you know, how much she thought you were supposed to be giving her every month?
No,
Let's take a look at your page 4 of your financial disclosure form.
I don't have that. Well,
Yeah,
page,
you do. Page 4, the page with your personal
oh, page 4 of
expenses.
the FDS,
Yes.
okay, got it.
Okay, so we have cell phone 32254,
Good,
and so that covers how many cell phones? Do you have a business phone and then a personal phone?
yeah, business, personals, yeah, that's
Okay.
3,
And clothing and shoes 350. Is that for you, your wife, and your stepson, or is that just for you?
that's just for me.
Okay. Did you put your wife on here as far as what it, you know, what?
No, I didn't, all these are just my expenses,
Okay.
I didn't include my wife.
Okay, just wanted to be sure. Credit card payments $188. Is that correct?
Yep,
Do you
minimum,
wear a suit to work every day, or dress up most days to go to work?
yeah, just like this,
Okay, and so your dry cleaning bill is $250 a month?
absolutely.
All right. Electric 75. You have food, groceries and restaurants $16.50. I'm assuming that's not just for you then, right? $16.50 must be your family.
For the whole
food.
family,
Okay. Fuel $4.25. Do you not pay the fuel through your business account? You pay that personally?
I pay that personally,
Okay. Gas for your home is $154. Is that correct?
Yep.
46 per month.
yes,
HOA is 90.
yes,
Internet and cable is 300.
yes,
Lawn care 60.
yes,
Membership fees $8.16. Then you've got your mortgage, rent, lease $29.80. Does that
Yes.
include your homeowner's insurance?
that's included.
Okay. Pets $230. What is that for? What is the $230 for?
That's just for dog food and grooming essentials.
Okay. Down here on the bottom, you've got IRS payments and life insurance. So you had insurance on your business expenses, and you said that was for life insurance, but now here you've got 190231 for IRS payments and life insurance. Can you tell me the difference?
Yeah, to differentiate that, on the other FDF form, the insurance was,
I think $100 a month on that
no,
one.
it's 1,800 on page 3 of 8.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, okay.
Right.
This is, personal life insurance, and I make payments to the IRS every month, $400.
Okay.
And it's in my
So-
statement.
So one of the insurance policies is life insurance for her, and one
Yeah.
is for yourself, for
Mandate.
your family.
Mandated by court, two policies for Marnie.
Okay.
When the divorce happened in 2011, I had to take out $1 million policy.
Okay,
So those premiums, two policies are included in that.
okay,
And then the rest are for my family,
all right. And then how much are you paying the IRS each month?
400, it's in my statements.
Okay, so your total expenses, personal expenses are $9,739, correct?
Correct.
And then that doesn't even include, child support that you're gonna be paying going forward to Marty, correct, at $866, that's not
Correct.
even on here,
Correct,
right? And then that also doesn't include the expenses that you contribute to for your stepson, correct?
correct.
So let's talk about your wife and your stepson. So you've been married how long?
Since 2018,
All right, and your wife currently is able to work or unable to work?
she's unable, we're in the process of getting her permanent residency,
Okay, so where is she from?
Columbia.
And so she doesn't have the correct papers at this point yet to work, is that
No,
correct?
they're in process, and we're waiting to get the appointment from immigration
Okay,
for the green card.
does she receive any child support for your stepson?
No,
Okay. So there is no money that is being contributed to him by any other source besides his mother and you?
No, just me. Well,
Okay.
no, not her. I'm the resource
Okay.
of all.
Okay. So, fair to say then that right now, until your business gets better, you actually are in a hole at the end of the year. You're spending more than you're bringing in right now.
My
pursuant to-
liabilities are more than's coming in.
Okay,
And, I'm late every month on who knows, water bill, whatever. It's just, I'm stretched thin,
okay.
but I'm looking things to get better.
So let's talk about these expenses that Sabrina noted on your financial disclosure form, in your bank statements. She talked about a purchase that you made at Yves Saint Laurent. What did you buy?
That was a gift from my wife.
Okay, sunburst shutters, you bought a home and you had to have window coverings,
Yeah, I had
correct?
it, yep.
Okay, and then Louis Vuitton,
Yeah, I bought a belt for myself,
okay.
for business.
These expenses were in early 2022, it appears, for the most part, these three, right?
Yeah, correct.
At that point, you were not obligated to pay child support to Marnie, is that correct?
Correct.
Right, and at that point, you had provided Dr. Zelensky with a retainer, is that correct?
Correct.
And so the only outstanding expenses pursuant to Marnie's own schedule of arrears were Sylvan, right?
Right.
And Dr. Fontanelle Gilmore.
Correct.
Did you sign an obligation to Sylvan to pay them?
No.
Did,
And I wasn't aware that, these bills were occurring, constantly every month. They just appear on my OFW account, and, there's no way I can keep up.
so did you stipulate and put into an order that you would pay half the cost of tutoring expenses?
I don't recall that to answer, no, but I don't recall. I'm 99% no.
Right,
I
okay. So this is something that she'd like you to reimburse her for, but there is no order requiring you to, right?
Yes, and that's been the problem for
Okay.
years.
Okay, and so, while you understand that she has the right to sign you up, are there ever discussions between you and her about the cost of things before she goes and,
No.
Incurs
100
expenses?
No, absolutely not.
okay. And I see from text messages, there are times when you speak to her outside of text and OFW, correct?
Yes.
You talk on the phone,
Not really. We really don't speak. It's more of just on the drop when I pick up Monet or I drop her off, or sometimes when we're amicable, we get along for a little while, then the relationship erupts again, and that's been the problem.
okay. So, there was a time that you had joint legal custody, and then that morphed into her having this sole legal custody, where she could obligate, Monet where she could sign Monet up to see providers without your input, right? During the
Yes.
time that you had joint legal custody, did she just make those decisions anyway, without you?
Yes.
And so one of those decisions was Dr. Fontanelle Gilmore, correct?
Correct.
So that was during the time that you had joint legal custody with her,
Correct.
but she didn't get your authorization for her to see her, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And how about all of these different therapists that she would take her to?
Yeah, she would just go ahead and sign, take Monet to these different professionalist therapists. And one that I did attend was Osborne.
Okay.
It was in Marnie's network, because I did let her know, I am not gonna go on these appointments, they're not in network. I can't I can't be taxed all the time by you on this, it has to stay in network. So I did attend Osborne's appointment, and after attending that appointment, it was obvious that the issues was between Marnie and Monet. So I didn't attend after that.
So when you say that it was obvious that the issues were between Marnie and Monet, what do you mean by that?
The relationship is toxic, it just has continued to escalate in violence and disrespect, and it just caught, it keeps getting worse and worse and worse, you know, and I have just not been able to put my hands around it because I haven't had the custody, and then when I had the custody the week on and week off, Monet got a lot better. Her GPA from an F went to a B minus. She was working side by side with vice principal at Rogage, and that's one of the people that's in this whole court order. She can contest to that. She was doing great. Marnie got a week break that she so-called needed, and Monet was just being a kid, and something that, you know, that she's never been able to do because, you know, Marty's just put the handcuffs on her, you know, so much that this poor kid can't breathe. You know, she doesn't dump the garbage. I'm gonna call Metro. How can a kid excel in life with that kind of parenting? You know, and this is all, you know, excuse me for my tears, but this has just been building up in me for so many years because I've had to have no control of anything.
So with respect to her behaviors, I'm assuming there's gonna be some questions about some things that she did do while it was on, week off, like such as, I think she went down to the Strip one night, didn't tell you guys, right, or said she was at downtown Summerlin but might have been somewhere else, so her behavior wasn't perfect under the week on, week off, correct?
Correct.
Okay, but when she was with you on the week on, week off, there's allegations that she wasn't staying at your home, that she was always staying with somebody else, is that true?
I let her have sleepovers with some of her friends, yes, and I knew the parents. I've had the phone numbers, I've talked to them in person, making sure that it was okay. I would offer the parents money for pizza, to take care of, you know, Monet for the night. You know, and everything was on the up and up, and Monet's whole demeanor and attitude was just she was just so happy and relieved. You could just see it in her, you know, and she was like, Daddy, thank you so much, and it was, you know, it was great.
Were you getting the same type of behavior from her during your weeks as Marnie expresses?
Absolutely not, because
Did
she respects me, and I never had those issues. You know, when she needed help with homework, I would help her. And there were just never, I don't have the issues that I've had that Marnie has with her. You know, that's why when the court ordered me to have her for a week, it worked out. It worked out great. You know, obviously things with Monet's behavior and their relationship is not going to happen overnight. You can't take a domestic relationship like the court ordered and then put it back them together 100% and then only put me for Friday and every other Sunday. You know, how can I mandate being a father and continuing that short period of time that I had, and then she even went to go visit my family for the first time. You know, she was so happy, you know, and now she's back in the military and it's just, everything just went upside down again.
So,
and look where she's at.
yeah, and so you feel like do you feel like any of these providers really helped her?
No, not at all. I went on, like I had mentioned, I went on with Osborne, and it was agreed. The problem is, and I asked Miss Osborne, the problem between Marnie and Monet? Yes, it is. Then I went on to Dr. Fontanelli, that's not in network, and when Monet was having Metro come to her house all the time because of what was going on between the relationship, I told Dr. Fontanelli what's been going on, and at that time she stopped the medication. She goes, I don't know if medication is right for Monet right now. I'm going to stop it, and I'm going to wait and see how things go. Those were her exact words. So I'm out. Everything that I have said that's been going on with Monet is 100% right. You know, I don't believe a child needs medication. I feel that there's more of an organic approach to helping my daughter. You know, the only thing that my daughter that I feel at this point needs is a great therapist. A great therapist. The rest of it, the values and principles, are learned at home. She's had her for 99% of the time. How can I input of just being, you know, Monet looks at me just being a cool dad, but they were never taught at home. So, you know, so when I had her that week on, week off, everything changed. And now it went back to this, and now look where she's at. It went to juvenile hall, then it went right, as soon as she got 100% custody, it went right to Eagle Ranch, and I didn't see my daughter for like 3-4 months.
So right now, are you able to visit her at Eagle Ranch?
Huh?
Are you able to visit her there?
Yeah, I went and visited her for the first time last month, and now Marty and I are able to see her for 3 days consecutive for 6 hours off the off campus or whatever you want to call it, and
Right.
And that's it. You know, I mean, it's very locked down. You know, and she wants out of there. She doesn't deserve to be there. You know, the therapist that she is working with, they have created a great bond, and that's what my daughter needs, a great therapist, and that's it.
So the therapist that she's seeing at Eagle Ranch is independent contractor?
Independent
is that correct?
contractor for EAR.
And that she's capable of seeing her outside of Eagle Ranch as well? is that
Absolutely. I
correct?
texted her a couple weeks ago, and I asked her, once Monet graduates from the facility, would she be able to continue her therapy care with you outside of Eagle Ranch? And she said, absolutely, 100%. You gotta, Marnie and I have to sign off from Paul, the owner of that facility, and we could use her services. So I thought that was a plus. So right there, it's like, if you take Monet out of there right now and change the custody, and it would be a lot better, you know, it would be a lot better. She could be able to be a kid.
So isn't it true that you and Marty had discussed residential treatment? There are text messages between the two of you, correct?
Yeah.
And what was the dispute then between the two of you when you were talking about the residential treatment facilities? Was it only financial, or was it also the length of stay?
Know that I didn't believe in it, and I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford it. Who can afford $8,500 a month, or my half, what, $4,250?
And actually, prior to finding Eagle Ranch, isn't it true that the other ones that you looked at were like $30,000 a month?
There was another one that Marty and I discussed. You know, it was called the Newport Academy up in Southern California.
Right.
And I believe Marty mentioned that her insurance covered it. It was only a facility for 2 or 3 months.
Right.
And then after that, you know, the amount was, I don't know, what, $30,000. And Marty didn't believe that Marty didn't believe that 2 or 3 months was enough.
And how did you feel about the length of stay?
We're at Newport.
Anywhere.
I just don't believe in it. You know, I tried to open up and side with Marty on this whole thing, but you know, and things kept escalating with Monet and things like that. So it did make Monet look really good, but it's just in the relationship that they have. So I still today don't believe in it. I still believe you take the therapist that she's working with, because she has a bond, she's able to confide in her and help Monet, and she'll be fine. She's a very bright girl. She knows what she's doing. There's a difference. She's not a special kid, with no disrespect. She knows what she's doing.
Okay.
That's why I believe in her. I believe in her, and I still believe in her to this day. And I've always told Monet, for the record, I want her to have a great relationship with her mother. That's her mother. And I would never take that away from Marnie. Ever. Even with my new wife. I would never say, okay, this is your new mom. Never. You know, Marnie is your mom, and you need to get along with her. You know, she needs to have her mom, especially now, coming of age. You know, she needs to have a mom.
So going forward after Eagle Ranch, you would like her to continue to see the therapist she's currently seeing, correct?
From what I'm seeing, absolutely.
And you would be on board with that decision, and whether she's in network or out of network, that would be something that you would be agreeable to?
Yeah, because
correct?
the money that's being spent right now, the $8,500, could go to Janelle, is the name of the therapist, for Monet's therapy. You know, it was night and day, with no disrespect to Maureen, the experience that Janelle has to Maureen. And that's why I didn't feel with Maureen, we weren't getting any results. They were still at war. She was going to juvenile hall. Metro was at the house all the time. I was getting 911 messages, Dad, please help me. You know, I just view things differently. All these therapists are not working. This one could be the key to my daughter. That's why the money being spent right now, again, it's only an hour and 40 minute drive from Vegas to St. George. It's a simple drive. I have no problem, helping Marnie, taking her there or whatever I need to do on that part. But her being the rest of it locked up and learning to wake up at 6:30 and take a shower, come on. I didn't have that problem when she was at my home.
Okay. Do you have any pool of money that you can pay the cost of Eagle Ranch from?
Do I have a what?
Any pool of money that you can pay
I don't
these
have a
costs?
well like Marnie.
So you have no savings account with money that,
I work paycheck to paycheck. I'm recovering from COVID. I'm a business owner, and I'm blessed that I have a solid book of business. I've been in the industry for over 22 years. I love what I do. Things are getting better. I'm just a little worried about going into recession for all of us. That's the only other thing that I worry about. But other than that, no, that's where I'm at.
so let's take a look at page 6 of your financial disclosure form. You have a home that you own on Majestic Tide Avenue that has a small amount of equity. I think you have that it has about $4,200 in equity.
Yeah, but that's probably gone down. Yeah.
Okay. You have your current balance in your checking account is $485.79.
Yeah, as of
Or
when I
was
filled
at
this
the
out.
time that you filled
Correct.
this out?
Yep.
You had a negative in your Wells Fargo,
Yep.
and the other two had a minimal balance, correct? Are there any other assets that you own besides what's here?
None.
Okay. And with respect to debt, you've got your home mortgage, right? You owe the IRS $28,000.
I think it's gone down.
You have an installment agreement with them?
Yeah, like I said, $400.
Okay.
It's on my checking statements that I turned in.
Okay. And then you have some credit cards, correct?
Yeah,
Credit
but they're
cards.
minimal, yeah.
Okay.
That's just to build my credit.
Okay, so you stand by the fact that you probably are netting about $120,000 a year, right?
Safe to say.
After the payment of IRS debt, your taxes and your business expenses, correct?
Yeah, about that, yeah.
Okay, and based upon payment of personal expenses, payment of child support, and payment of whatever the court rules on the health insurance, do you have any additional money coming in each month that could allow you to pay for Eagle Ranch?
No, I've always paid my child support and the health insurance on time, and, I got a little behind on my child support last year, and, I paid that in a lump sum. I think it was $6,000 or $7,000. So, the welfare of my daughter is 100% important to me, and I know that I have an obligation to her as being a dad, and financially, and I've always done it. I have no problem with that. It's just right now, with all these expenses, being put on me out of network and not being discussed with me and just continuing on. Now this $8,500 at a facility, I can't afford it. These are my numbers. This is all I got. I do well, but this is all I got.
I understand, thank you.
Mr. Victoria, you commented regarding Renee's behavior when it was during your custody time. She behaved much better with you. She respected you. She didn't act out with you. Is that correct?
She respected me. What was the last thing you said?
She didn't act out with you like she does with Marnie.
Yeah, she respects me. We got a great relationship.
I'd like you to go to Exhibit 2. This is a letter that Marnie Zielinski drafted, dated August 12th, 2022.
You're talking Exhibit 2?
Correct.
What page?
So I'm on the first page.
Okay.
It's a letter from Marine Zielinski. It's dated April 12th, 2022. So this would have been
April or August?
Oh, I'm so sorry. August 12th,
Okay,
2022.
that's fine.
I apologize.
That's all right, I
Yeah.
just wanna make sure I'm looking at the right one.
would have been around the time that primary physical custody reverted back to Marnie, is that correct?
Well, yeah, correct, okay,
Okay, so can you go to page 2?
yeah.
Let's see, there's a paragraph, it's the second one from the bottom, it starts with Monet, was RPC, do you see that?
You talking about the last paragraph?
The second to last paragraph.
Okay, got it.
So, Monet was RPC'd on May 4th due to bullying another girl at school, and again, just prior to the end of the school year for dropping F-bombs in class. Monet was staying at her father's home during the last RPC and missed the last 3 days of school. So, do you not consider that Monet acting out while in your care?
What's the question?
Do you not consider this Monet acting out while in your care?
Yeah, this is acting out, yeah.
Okay.
But like I had said, this type of behavior is not gonna happen, not gonna change overnight. This started in Marnie's home.
Can you go to Exhibit 3, please?
Which one?
Exhibit 3. And this is a report to the court dated October 24th, 2022 from Maureen Zelinsky, is that correct?
Yeah, I got it, yeah.
Can you go to page 2? There's the first full paragraph on this page. The last few sentences, it states, Monet has continued to have access during her father's custodial time to a black phone, which Monet admitted to me. She acknowledged that she has received money via Apple Pay for selling pictures of her feet online. She is naive about the risks associated with that kind of activity and resistant to receiving guidance on that topic. Now, Monet was able to do these things because of the cell phone that you gave her during your custody time, is that
Yeah,
correct?
absolutely.
Can you go to Exhibit 6, please? And you recall in April of 2022, when the court temporarily modified custody, giving you and Marnie joint physical custody, that the
Right.
court ordered both of you guys not to allow Monet to have electronics in either one of your cares, is that
I don't
correct?
recall that, but I remember a week on, week off.
So are you at Exhibit 6?
The GAL report?
Yeah,
Uh-huh,
okay.
Which exhibit here?
number
6.
6.
Okay,
Now, this is Amanda Roberts. She's the guardian ad litem. It's her report and recommendation that was filed on November 7th, 2022. Can you please go to page 8?
8 of 13?
Correct. I'm gonna read this paragraph for you. It says, on September 22nd, 2022, I spoke with Dr. Fontanelle Gilmore, who has treated Monet for a few years. Initially, she indicated that she did not support residential treatment, but the issues have spiraled out of control recently, and Monet was doing dangerous things in Victor's care. She indicated that for safety boundaries and structures, she needs residential as the best option. According to her, Monet has admitted to stealing, physical violence with Marnie, and lack of supervision at Victor's house. Monet also told her that she is not taking her medication because Dad tells her she does not have to take it, which empowers her and is not helpful to the situation. Monet has emotional issues with Mom and Dad, which started with rejection by Dad, then progressed align with Dad because the only way to keep him from rejecting. Monet needs to work through pain and hurt, and how do you recognize that Dad is not helping but hurting me? Dad also needs to learn that his behavior is causing problems too. Does that sound like Monet is behaving appropriately in your care?
I'm gonna object because that wasn't his testimony. I asked whether or not Monet exhibited those behaviors in his home. The hitting, the punching, the, domestic violence, that wasn't my question, so.
I just asked if it sounded like it.
But your
Based
question,
on reports from Monet to her psychiatrist, if it
Your
sounded like she was
but-
behaving.
I don't wanna argue with Ms. Dolson, but her questions now are limited to what I asked him. And I asked him whether or not Monet exhibited the same behaviors in his home that she exhibited in Marnie's home.
You asked that, but he opened the door and he answered, and he said that she had no issues when she was in his care, that there were no concerns, that there were no issues.
Right,
So
when
he
she
actually
was,
opened that door, and he
Okay.
did say, so I'll allow the question.
Okay, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Can you go to page 10, Mr. Victoria, of that same report?
20?
10. Page
10?
And you'll see in this, the first sentence, full sentence, it says,
You said exhibit 10,
no,
correct?
I'm sorry. Page 10 of exhibit 6.
Okay.
We were still in the same exhibit.
Okay, same exhibit? Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, exhibit 6, page 10 of 13?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
And you'll see there, Victor clearly provided Monet a cellular telephone in violation of the court's order and attempts to engage in hiding of the device by having friends give it to him and asking Monet to delete their messages so they are not viewed by Marnie. Victor is also not supervising Monet very well during his timeshare, including dropping her off regularly at downtown Summerlin and allowing her to stay with friends sometimes for multiple nights in a row in violation of the court's order. So that was,
I don't agree with that, but,
that was, Ms. Roberts' report, who is, appointed as Monet's guardian.
the
ad litem.
guardian ad litem, yeah, I know.
And can you go to page 11, the next page? And in that first paragraph, do you see where it says, the breakdown in the family dynamic and dad's rejected, coupled, I believe it's supposed to say rejection, coupled with enabling behaviors to get his attention is causing the child's behavior to become worse.
No. Well, like I had said, I don't agree with Maureen Zielinski's work as a professional, and so, and it's obvious because of the therapist that Monet has right now, it's night and day between their work.
I'd like to actually talk about the therapist that Monet has right now, because the therapist that you believe is helping her, Janelle Pato? Now, she's the therapist at Eagle Ranch Academy, correct?
Correct.
And you think she's doing a wonderful job with Monet?
As of today, she's doing a good job. Monet has somebody that she could confide in and trust and things like that. So from what I've seen so far, she looks like she's doing a good job. And that's what I've said all along, that Monet needs a great therapist, but it's very hard to get a great therapist for any issue.
And Marnie finally found that therapist at Eagle Ranch Academy by getting her the treatment that she needed.
Great for Marnie. Let's pull our daughter out of there and just hire Janelle as an independent contractor. She doesn't need to be locked up and taught when to take a shower and when to shut down.
But that's not what the medical professionals think, isn't that true?
Well, the medical professionals and experts before Marnie was given 100% custody back again, Marnie Zielinski and the guardian ad litem recommended that Monet doesn't need to be in a residential treatment facility. When the court ordered, with no disrespect, back onto her 100%, the relationship escalated even more. How can you take a violent, domestic relationship and put it back in the same home?
Sir,
Hold on.
there was no question there.
Okay.
So,
Sonny, you
just to be clear, we just reviewed Maureen Zielinski's report and Amanda Roberts' report, and they both had a lot of things to say about Monet's behavior in your care.
I don't agree with it.
That's your opinion. Now, you have claimed that Marnie has 99% of the time with Monet, correct?
Correct.
And you believe that basically Monet's behavior is a result of her relationship with Marnie. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
And I believe you testified that it was crushing to you as a father to see how Monet essentially is treated by Marnie and how upset she is. Is that correct?
What was that again?
You testified that it hurts you as a father to see how Monet is treated by Marnie and how she feels in her care. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you have had every opportunity to seek a change in custody over the past now 12 years. Isn't that correct?
Correct.
And you have not done so.
It's not that, yeah.
Okay?
It's not that I haven't done so. I've looked into it. Okay, but
It requires a simple motion. You file a motion for change of custody.
I'm
You show
gonna
the court.
object
Sure.
because it's facts, it misstates the facts. He did file for a change of custody in 2020.
In 2021, you filed for a change of custody, correct?
correct.
And at that first hearing, you immediately withdrew your request. Isn't that
And
correct?
like I had mentioned in court a little bit ago, I'd like to explain on that. I'll answer your
I
question.
think there was a question, the question was you immediately withdrew that motion. Is that
Correct, yes, yes.
That's the only thing,
Okay.
yes or no?
Okay,
Your attorney can draw out any explanations.
okay, okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. court told you specifically, if you'd like more time with your daughter, you can file a motion. Do you recall the court informing you of that at the hearing?
I don't recall that.
And have you filed a motion since custody was reverted back to Marnie? Primary physical custody was
No,
reverted
but to hire an attorney, it costs money, and you know, when you're stretched out and living paycheck to pay, well, there's my answer.
Sir, that wasn't yes or no
I answered
question?
yes.
Okay.
That's it. She didn't ask you about an attorney.
Okay, now I'd like to, your council went over those expenses that you discussed, or that, I'm sorry, the expenses at Yves Saint Laurent and, at Zales and Louis Vuitton that you made in 2022.
From what we went over, correct?
Now, do you recall that Marnie has been trying to get inpatient treatment for Monet since September of 2021?
Yes.
Okay, so during that time that Marnie was trying to do everything she could to get the treatment, and you couldn't contribute to the cost, you still went out and you could spend nearly $10,000 on other expenses at Yves Saint Laurent and Zales and Louis Vuitton. You had $10,000 to drop, and Shutters. You had $10,000 to drop on those things, but not on your daughter. Is that correct?
Not true.
Well, it's true because you've made those
Well, it's true.
expenses.
I'm not
and
gonna
you haven't-
contribute to something that I don't believe. There's a
Okay.
difference.
But you've been claiming you can't afford anything to contribute to her.
Objection
towards her.
argumentative, asked and answered.
Sustained.
Any further questions, Jen?
Thank you.
All right, let me just a few. So it really wasn't about well, did you make it clear to Marnie that you could not afford residential treatment from the get-go?
Yeah, and I sent an email through OFW, cause we're supposed to communicate that way, cause we don't talk. I said, I can't afford this. I can't afford, $8,500 or $4,500 a month. I mean, I can't afford it.
But on top of that, you didn't agree that she needed this length of treatment, is that correct?
No, and with the rest of the treatment surrounding just the therapy part of it, that stuff is all learned from home. You know, they don't have a relationship, and I don't believe in it. I still don't.
Okay, and so there was some discussion where the two of you were going back and forth about potential residential facilities, and you were at one point discussing it with her, correct?
Well, yeah, I opened up to the idea. You know, I just didn't want to shut down the idea because it's our daughter.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's just that the violence and you know, her going to juvenile hall twice, Metro being called numerous times at the house, and it's like, okay, I got to really take a step back and look at this whole situation. What's best for Monet? And so that's what was going on.
But ultimately, you didn't agree because of both reasons, the length of stay and the cost. Is that fair to say?
Correct, and I don't believe in it. I just don't believe that she needs that intense of a lockdown, and even the experts said that too.
And actually, the court didn't order residential treatment for her, right? The court said that Marnie could
It would-
decide that issue.
100% correct.
Okay. So when I asked you about her behavior in your home, I asked whether or not she was exhibiting the same behaviors such as punching, kicking, stealing. Was she doing that in your home?
Never.
Okay. So you don't dispute that some of the behaviors outside of your home, when she would go out to school or in public, were the same behaviors, correct?
Right, and I don't condone that either. And I mean, as a father, you know, I have to talk to her. You know, it just seems that all this stuff has escalated so fast, and then now Marnie has 100% control, sends her away. I mean, I haven't even had time to really have one-on-one conversation with my daughter and ask her about these events of what's been going. Is it true or not? You know, she's just trying to upset Marnie. That's what I feel. You know what I mean? And she needs to get her footing back. They need therapy. They need therapy.
So, and you are participating in family therapy at Eagle Ranch right now, aren't you?
Actually, yeah, Marty and I are. We just had our first family session, what was it, Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday. And then we had and then we had another one in person when I finally got to visit Monet. And, you know, the therapist was good.
Okay.
It was good,
Okay.
you know?
And with respect to, hold on, I lost my train of thought, give me one moment, please. Shoot, there was something else I wanted to ask. God, I lost my train of thought, I think I'm just getting,
Do we need a break?
just for, yeah, could you give me a few minutes?
Why don't, we can come, do you need some time to?
Just a few,
do what you need to
like
do?
my head is, like, I feel like I'm wondering if I've already asked some of these questions.
Not a problem, we can break if you also need some time to take care of other matters.
I'm assuming we're gonna be done soon, are you calling, I mean, we don't have anybody else to call. do we?
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean.
So do you guys want a 5, 10,
Just
15
maybe a
minutes?
five-minute
Yeah,
break?
5 minutes.
You
Okay.
need, you don't need to pump then?
Yeah,
No, not we're gonna be done soon, I think we're gonna be done pretty soon.
Yeah, I agree,
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you.
okay,
If you
so,
just let me run to the bathroom and just think for a minute?
not a problem,
Thank you so much.
5 minutes.